We're going to solve quadratic equations. I have 4 examples here, starting with 3x squared equals 9x. Now, typically you want to put your quadratic equation in this form. And you can see I have my 9x on the right side of the equation. I want to put it over to the left. So I'm going to subtract 9x from both sides of the equation. And then that will give me 3x squared minus 9x equals 0. The next step is to simplify as much as possible by factoring out common factors in each term. So here we can see a common factor of 3x in these two terms. So if I factor out the 3x, I'm left with x here and minus 3 equals 0. Now I'm going to use the zero property rule that just says if you have a product, the factors, if your product is equal to 0, then the factors have to equal 0, or at least one of them does. So in this case, either, well, 3, we know 3 can't equal 0, but x could equal 0. So either x is equal to 0 or x minus 3 is equal to 0. Those are the factors. And if x minus 3 equals 0 and I add 3 to both sides, I get x is equal to 3. So these are my solutions. And moving on, here we're going to put this equation in this form. And so I'm first going to distribute the x. So I get x squared minus 4x equals 60. And then I want to subtract 60 from both sides. So that's going to give me x squared minus 4x minus 60 equals 0. Now, right off the bat, I'm not sure how to factor that. I could use the AC method, but what if it doesn't, what if it's not factorable? So at this point, we're going to use the discriminant in the quadratic formula. And you will recall the discriminant is b squared minus 4ac. And in this case, a is 1, b is -4, and c is -60. So when I plug that into my equation, I get -4 squared minus 4 times a, which is understood to be 1, and c, which is -60. And then when I calculate that, I get 16 plus, because the double negative, 240, right? We have 4 times 60 is 240. So 16, that's going to be 224. And that is positive, so it's going to give me 2 solutions. And I'm kind of running out of probably time here, and so I'm just going to finish this and do these in the next video, because I'm limited on time. I'll spend more time on this one. Okay, so we know that our discriminant is 224. That means it's positive, so we're going to have 2 solutions as opposed to 0 or 1. And I'm going to use that discriminant in the quadratic formula. So x equals minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And now that we already calculated b squared minus 4ac, so we can just use that here. And so we get minus b, so that would be minus a -4 plus or minus the square root of 224 over 2 times a, which is 1. And so that gives me 4, because I have 2 negatives, make it positive, plus or minus the square root of 224 over 2. Now, what I need to do at this point is to simplify 224, or the square root of 224, by getting out all the pairs of factors. So let's do that. I'm kind of running out of room here. I think I have some room over here. So 224 is 2 times 112, and that's going to be 2 times 106, and that's going to be 2 times 53. And 53 is prime, so we can't really go beyond that. So notice we have a pair of 2's right there. So I can take out a factor of, if I take out a pair of 2's, that's 4, right? 2 times 2 is 4, and I'm taking the square root of 4, so it's 2. So whenever you take out a pair of factors from under the radical, you are going to single it out. So 4 or 2 2's become 1 2. So we have 4 plus or minus 2 times what's left. What's left is 2 times 53 or 106. And then we can't simplify that any further. And now we're going to take out the common factor. We have 4 divided by 2 is 2. And we have plus or minus 2 divided by 2 times square root of 106. So there is our solution.